What's up guys, it's your boy BH9Rolly. This one might be a long one. For this video, we'll be talking about leveling up your character's power level. Yes, power level, not light level. Weapons / armor 3.0 and the difference between 3.0 and 2.0. And lastly, the most needed materials needed for high level content in Destiny 2. If you need to know about Destiny 2 crafting weapons, that's a whole different video. Links in the description down below. Starting off with leveling, when you first log in, you'll be 10 light. The first you need to do is strikes in order to get your power / glimmer up. Strikes / non-portal activities get you at least 300 power, which is the soft cap. To get past 300 power to 550 power, which is the max, you have to complete the Renegades campaign until around step 11 when your map looks like this. Once you see this, no life sabotage and bounty hunt missions. Fuck the smuggle missions. Them bitches is ass. Also, before you go any further, you need 3 people in order to do these missions, especially if you're under 450 power. At the time of this recording, I'm 500 power. I've done the sabotage and bounty hunt missions at least 20 times. So if you can't find anyone and need a third, make sure to hit me up on my socials, links in the description down below. Oh yeah, once again, fuck smuggle missions. While I was grinding, I found that the contested territory had the highest concentration of players at one time. We all know the player base for D2 is ass, so trying to find players is a grind on top of a grind. It is a grind on top of a grind. While this method isn't the prettiest way to get to 550 power, it at least gets you there. Moving on to weapons, the hype of the new weapons 3.0 is the tier list. Before we get there and how to get them, let's go over the older weapons and the difference between them. Weapons before the Edge of Fate are not tiered, but it's okay. They can still kind of compete. The newer weapons. Weapons from Season of the Wish and forward mostly will have this enhanced area under the perks of the weapon. Yes, if a weapon does not have this, it's ass. I'm not lying. And also, yes, RNG will drop a weapon without an enhanced option. Pretty much when you see this, it means these 2 perk columns will be enhanced after you meet certain requirements. All older weapons drop with a masterwork area that counts as a tier list. Once maxed out, one of the weapon stats will increase. But when you enhance said weapon, the masterwork will automatically get maxed out and you will be able to enhance these 2 columns of perks. Column 2 needs weapon level 11, 15,000 glimmer. Greedy fucking bastards. 3 enhancement prisms and 1 ascendant alloy. For column 3, you're gonna need weapon level 17, another 15,000 glimmer. Fucking greedy bastards. 3 enhancement prisms and 1 ascendant alloy. Oh yeah, and before I forget, every weapon has a chance to drop with a fully enhanced old tier slot. Now that is done, let's talk about the fun parts. Starting with the Edge of Fate, Destiny 2 has armor / weapons 3.0 with a tier list 1 through 5. Tier 1 weapons are pretty much the shitty weapons before the Season of the Wish. No enhancement, they just exist with that shitty shit. Tier 2 weapons are pretty much like the weapons after the Season of the Wish, both enhanced columns, but these can have the older tier slots that can be upgraded. Tier 3 weapons are the same as tier 2 but have a second perk in the columns. Tier 4 weapons have the first 4 columns enhanced plus mods will be enhanced too. Lastly, tier 5 weapons have literally everything enhanced plus mods enhanced, weapon ornaments and weapon hollow chips. You can get these different tiers based on your difficulty / modifiers and the portal activity. Oh yeah, if you want to know what activities give you what gear, make sure you always check by doing this. Now moving on to armor. The numbers in the tiered area are the sum of the random numbers that could spawn when you get your armor. Now this number is the lowest the tier of armor will spawn, and this number is recommended highest it will spawn. Use this button at the bottom to toggle between current armor stats and full character armor stats. Pretty much it will not spawn lower, but it could spawn higher. When you masterwork armor 3.0, you are adding 1 point into the slot of all 3 empty spots up to 5. Tier wise, tier 5 armor has an additional slot for stat tuning mod. Armor 2.0, the name of the game was mods. You have to enhance the armor in order to get any energy slots for mods. Some armor 2.0 would drop with different amounts of energy already there, and that's pretty much it. Now the energy slots are already filled with armor 3.0. With armor 3.0, you still can have mods, so it's kind of like less work. When leveling up armor 2.0, the first 4 upgrades require 500 glimmer. Upgrade 5 requires 1,000 glimmer. Upgrade 6 requires 1,000 glimmer and 1 enhancement core. Upgrade 7 requires 2,500 glimmer and 2 enhancement cores. Upgrade 8 requires 3,000 glimmer and 1 enhancement prism. Upgrade 9 requires 3,000 3,000 glimmer and 2 enhancement prisms. And lastly, upgrade 10, you're going to need 4,000 glimmer and 1 ascendant shard, which gives each stat plus 2 points. Armor 2.0 gives out all stats randomly, and Armor 3.0 only gives out 3 random stats. Exotic Armor 2.0 wise, upgrade 2 requires 500 glimmer, upgrade 3 and 4 requires 1,000 glimmer, upgrade 5 requires 2,500 glimmer, upgrade 6 requires 3,000 glimmer and 2 enhancement cores, upgrade 7 requires 3,000 glimmer and 3 enhancement cores, upgrade 8 requires 4,000 glimmer and 2 enhancement prisms, upgrade 9 requires 4,000 glimmer and 3 enhancement prisms, and lastly upgrade 10 requires 5,000 glimmer and 3 ascendant shards plus 2 points to every stat. When leveling up Exotic Armor 3.0, upgrade 1 requires 1,500 glimmer and 1 enhancement core, upgrade 2 requires 3,000 glimmer and 2 enhancement cores, upgrade 3 requires 5,000 glimmer and 3 enhancement cores and 1 enhancement prism, upgrade 4 requires 7,000 glimmer, 4 enhancement cores, 2 enhancement prisms, and 1 ascendant shard. Upgrade 5 requires 8,500 glimmer, 5 enhancement cores, 2 enhancement prisms, and 2 ascendant shards. Also, once again, each upgrade increases the 3 stats not given by 1 point. When leveling up tiered armor 3, starting off with tier 5 armor, upgrade 1 requires 2,400 glimmer, 3 enhancement cores, and 1 enhancement prism. Upgrade 2 requires 3,500 glimmer, 5 enhancement cores, and 2 enhancement prisms. Upgrade 3 requires 7,500 glimmer, 6 enhancement cores, and 2 enhancement prisms. Upgrade 4 requires 9,100 glimmer, 7 enhancement cores, 3 enhancement prisms, and 1 ascendant shard. Upgrade 5 requires 12,500 glimmer, 9 enhancement cores, 5 enhancement prisms, and 2 ascendant shards. Tier 4 armor wise, upgrade 1 requires 2,000 glimmer and 2 enhancement cores. Upgrade 2 requires 3,300 glimmer, 3 enhancement cores, and 1 enhancement prism. Upgrade 3 requires 6,500 glimmer, 4 enhanced cores, and 1 enhancement prism. Upgrade 4 requires 8,200 glimmer, 5 enhancement cores, 2 enhancement prisms, and 1 ascendant shard. Upgrade 5 requires 10,000 glimmer, 7 enhancement cores, 3 enhancement prisms, and 1 ascendant shard. So I got rid of all my lower tier gear, so I can't show you what you need. If you still have some and it's upgraded, comment down below and I'll pin the comment. Moving on, there are now classes / armor sets which tie into armor stats into Destiny 2. The 6 types of armor are Brawler, Gunner, Specialist, Grenader, Paragon, and Bulwark. The armor stats that work with the armor are Weapons, Health, Class, Grenade, Super, and Melee. Weapons increase reload / handling, damage, and ammo brick drops. Health affects health per orb, flinch resistance, shield recharge rate, and shield health. Class affects class ability cooldown and provides overshield upon use. Grenade affects cooldown speed and increases grenade damage. Super increases energy gain and boosts super damage. And melee affects cooldown speed and increases melee damage. Now the stats are on the 200 scale. Past 100 points, each stat gets enhanced. Check right here for the enhanced improvements. Alright, now moving on to how armor types and stats connect. Brawler armor drops primarily with melee and health secondary stat. Gunner armor drops primarily with weapons and grenade secondary stats. Specialist armor drops primarily with class and weapon secondary stats. Grenader armor drops primarily with grenade and super secondary stats. Paragon armor drops primarily with super and melee secondary stats. Bulwark armor drops primarily with health and class secondary stats. Now with the armor sets, each set has certain perks with the amount of armor you have equipped. I'm going to show pictures of the Edge of Fate armor sets, so be ready to pause the video. Starting off with Wayward Psyche, moving on to Twofold Crown, moving on to Tech Sec, moving on to Smoke Jumper, moving on to Lustrous, moving on to Last Discipline, moving on to Iron Panoply, moving on to Disaster Corpse, moving on to Collective Psyche, moving on to Bushido, moving on to Aeon Renewal, moving on to Aeon Adapter. Now it's time to go over the Renegade armor sets, starting off with Wild Anthem, moving on to Thriving Survivor, moving on to Swords Master, moving on to Shrewd Survivor, moving on to Sage Protector, moving on to New Demotic, lastly moving on to Ferropotent. Now we went over all the tiered gear. Let's talk about how to get those sought after tier 5 gear drops. First, tiered gear is linked to your power level. Tier 1 and 2 gear drops around 200 to 300 power. Tier 3 gear drops around 300 plus power by doing weekly activities, portal events, and lawless frontiers. Tier 4 gear drops around 350 to 400 plus power by doing weekly mythic missions, trials, and lawless frontiers. Tier 5 gear drops around 450 plus power by doing B plus or A rank portal activities, recommended portal activities, trials, and lawless frontiers. Farming tier 5 gear wise, get to Guardian rank 9. Good luck. Season Pass Prime Engram boost, and the Spider Renegades gear tier upgrade, which allows you to get higher tiered loot. Moving on to materials, it's pretty simple. Just go to RNGesus and the shit next to the vault and the tower. I'd rather RNGesus, but hey, if you got Chronolog, then you're good. You could also just grind Lawless Frontiers. Last strand meditations for your strand subclass, you get them by using the strand subclass. So load up Lawless Frontiers with your strand subclass equipped, or going to the shooting range and you should be good. Other than that, this is the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. If you need help with any other steps, make sure to hit me up on my socials, link in the description down below.